Hey, Trevor, happy Friday, Coffee Chat Friday, CTO Coffee Chat. Oh, I like it. All right, well, I'm glad you're back. We had a co-host standing in for you, Chris Denisiak. We talked about data governance last Coffee Chat. So I thought you coming back from vacation, a good topic would be to discuss what is data as an asset. We're hearing that a lot. Obviously, there's an abundance of data being created. And so as we start this coffee chat, maybe you can give our viewers your kind of definition and what you think data as an asset is.
Thanks, Justin. Thanks for having me back on. Super excited to talk about this topic. It's something that I talk about all the time, with different people and what it means to them and their organization and how we can enable that. So when I think about data as an asset, I first think about data at its core and what data is, and data is really numbers that represent what's happening. And when you link that to and you think about what an asset is, it's something that's used for gain, or it has economic characteristics. So it can be applied to money, to gain, to loss. So I bridge those two things together and I think about what data as an asset is. It's using data that an organization has, and it's presenting it in a way, or it's consuming it in a way that leads to an actionable insight. And I think that's the key piece of it, is actionable insight. Because if you're looking at data and it's on a spreadsheet and all it is data, and it's just saying what's happening, that's not leading to a gain or a loss or a new decision. But looking at data, what it means, what it's representing, and thinking about what decisions you can make with that data, it's the decisions that you derive from it that are going to lead to some sort of gain or loss. So data as an asset to me is like I said, taking that data, informing a decision, taking an action that leads to something else. Ideally, an asset being a good thing. So decisions with data that lead to, it could be a multitude of things. It could be a decision made around how to talk to a customer that leads to more sales with that customer. It could be noticing that a certain product of a customer has been declining, and you have a conversation and you understand why, and that data is informing your conversation, and you decide, well, we need to do this with this customer, and you gain those sales back. And that has an economic characteristic because you can measure that. So, data as an asset, it can be about gaining profits, gaining sales. It can be used on the operations side as well, being more efficient, deciding, looking at a process that you have and looking at the data and identifying a bottleneck, and looking at that bottleneck and making a decision on how to fix it, how to change it, that leads to an efficiency gain. That means you've gained time back, you've gained something back, and there's that economic characteristic again. That's that quantifiable decision that you've made with data.
Wow, I really like that definition. Yeah, you combined a lot of things and you put those together. I mean, really at that asset level, it's a value to the organization. And people that don't use their data are missing a lot of value that they can provide their organization, from like you said, customers and sales, and even finances, and understanding forecasts, what the future could look like. I know there's been a lot of discussion around supply chain, and if we can leverage that data in some predictable fashion, that may help us out. I'd also say that when you think about your data, you can also leverage it from a vendor or supply chain perspective to get better pricing. So, sometimes it's about customers and sales, but it's also on the supply chain side about better pricing. So that's excellent. I really like your definition there, Trevor. So as we, it was interesting enough, Chris and I were talking on our last episode, we say all these organizations are putting data out there and they're just basically piling it up, and it became a data swamp. And no one likes swamps, and they're not something that people want to build houses on. And it's just not a great place to go. So as we look at all of this data and actually using it as an asset, you maybe tell our viewers, how would you say that our customers leverage their data as an asset? How does CPS help customers to leverage their data as an asset? What do we do for those customers to get them that actionable insights that you were talking about?
Very good question, Justin, and way to give some context there. I think there's a couple things that actually enable someone to take data from what it is in its raw format, or in its how it's created, and actually leverage it to make that decision. And the two areas I'll touch on is people and technology. And so what I mean by that is, for a decision to be made, at the end of the day, it's going to be a human decision. In most businesses, most circumstances, it's a human that has to take that data, digest it, whatever it is showing or however it's being presented, and ultimately make a decision. Sure, there are companies, there are use cases where there's more advanced technology that can recommend a decision, or it can guide you towards a decision. But for the most part, in today's world, it's a human that's on the end of the line that has to say, we're going to do this or we're going to do that. So for a human to make that decision, there needs two things to happen. One, they need to be comfortable, confident, and trusting that their decision is the right one. And they need to have the data presented in a way that they're able to make that decision. So on the people side of it, and what I'm talking about there is this term that's out there now that's really important, that in the conversation that we're having with our customers, is called data literacy. And what that is someone's competence, ability to take data, understand, analyze what it's telling them, and then make that decision. So it's really you can think of it as like a competency, and it's something that you can train, it's something that you can improve. So we're working with our customers and thinking about, holistically in their culture, who are the different consumers of data? What are their different roles? What are their different challenges? How comfortable are they with data? And providing them training, education, ways to improve their data literacy competency, so that when they are looking at data, they are able to feel comfortable with it. They're able to feel empowered by what the data can do for them. And that's going to really encourage and enable them to leverage data as an asset. For people that don't have a strong data literacy competency, it doesn't matter how you present the data. It doesn't matter what tool or technology. If they're not comfortable and they don't really understand what they're looking at or why they're looking at it, you have that disconnect there, and you're not getting that true empowerment of data. So that's one part, is the people element, the culture, and the comfortability with making decisions with data. And then the second piece of it is the data and technology side of it. Ultimately, bad data equals bad decisions. So, there are a lot of organizations that we talk to that have all kinds of things. You mentioned data swamp, data silos, different people in different departments, different areas that are ultimately looking at, they're all looking at information about their organization, but things aren't always the same. And when you have data silos, you have data that's disconnected, that is different, and people are unsure of why, that leads to a mistrust of data. And that's not a good thing for an organization, because once you start to lose trust in what the data is, what it's telling you, then you're going to lose momentum on data as an asset. So with the data and technology side, it's really important that, before you can present data in any way and transform it into an actual insight, you need to have clean, trusted, agreed upon, aligned upon data. Going back to the data governance talk that you guys had and the importance of a common understanding of what the data is, where it's coming from, how it got to be what it is today. That's really important. And then the last step of it is how do you present that data in a way with a technology, with a software, with a tool that allows for an exploration, that allows for the most efficient analyzing of the data. So when you think about that, I think about business intelligence tools, data visualization tools, and that's really the last step, is that if someone has the competency, the understanding of how the data got there, the data is trusted, and then you're able to think about, in your role in the business, what decisions am I trying to make? What are my goals? Then that tool allows you to explore the data, drill down into the data, and uncover those insights, those actionable insights that we were talking about earlier, and hopefully make those decisions that lead to some sort of gain or success. So that's when I think about the gambit, the process of data as an asset. That's what I think about.
Excellent. Yeah, I love it. People, technology, I love data literacy, data governance, and using tools and technology to get into it. So that's how we do it, and we love doing it every day. So Trevor, I really appreciate your time today and talking about data as an asset. It's always good to have these coffee chats with you. And as a reminder to our viewers, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and also visit our website at clearprocesssolutions.com. Until our next coffee chat, Trevor, we'll talk to you later. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.